Colorado High School Activities Association Baseball is on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network this afternoon from Legion Field. It's Game 2 of a doubleheader as the Fort Morgan Mustangs take on the Northridge Grizzlies. Along with Brian Nickel, I'm John Beltran. The good news for these teams, they both won today. Fort Morgan defeated Greeley West 2-0 on a 4-hitter from Jesse Campa and a 2-run single in the second inning from Briggs Wheatley. And Northridge won at Greeley Central 7-1. Greeley Central remains winless on the season, so the Mustangs had a little bit more of a quality victory. And the one thing, Brian, we know that if Fort Morgan's going to make it 2-0 today, they got to capitalize on some opportunities that were there in Game 1 that they really didn't capitalize on.
Yeah, they had plenty of opportunity, that's for darn sure. The only clutch hit they really had was that one from Briggs Wheatley, and they had, the last, 4, 5, 6 innings. They had guys on base in scoring position, just couldn't get them in. But they've got to do that this time because Northridge can score some runs. They scored 7 earlier. They scored 12 on them when they got beat in Northridge earlier in the year.
First game of the season. Batting first is a shortstop, Jace Reed. The catcher, Justice Alcala, hits second. Batting third, making the center fielder. Batting third is the right fielder, Gannon McGeen. The second baseman, Kobe Bevins, is the cleanup hitter. Mark Felix Yama is the third baseman. It's fifth. The DH hits sixth. That's Bubba Hernandez. Brendan Peterson, the left fielder, hits seventh. First baseman Parker Steckel hits eighth. And Dylan Hubbard, the catcher, bats ninth. For the Mustangs defensively, Malachi Bills is at first. The second baseman is Charlie Langford. Jesse Camp is at third. Nick Beltran is at short. In left field is Levi McCoy. Briggs Wheatley in center. Kale Langford in right. And behind the plate is Jackson Langford. And on the mound is Frank Ortega. With mixed results this year, Frank Ortega for the Mustangs with a record of 2-0, a 3.44 ERA. Not too bad. It's got some no decisions. And the opening pitch for game number 2 is brought to you by High Plains Bank, your friendly local community bank serving Wiggins and all surrounding areas. High Plains Bank. And here is Jace Reed hitting from the right side. And the first pitch from the right-hander is a fastball down the middle for a strike. We had a junior right-hander throw a 4-hitter. Let's see what this junior righty does. Laying down the sign is Langford. Open stands for the hitter, the pitch. And that's in the dirt. Count levels at 1-1. Jace Reed hitting .365. Mustangs had just one error in the opening game. That was a 2-out error in the 7th by Beltran. And I don't know if something got loose in the outfield, maybe a baseball.
Yep.
So here we go, 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, you don't want to break up a rhythm that early. I don't know what's happening out there.
If they got away from him down the...
Yeah, you don't want to break up a rhythm that early with the first hitter. That's usually an advantage to the hitter, not the pitcher. Pitcher has to get into a rhythm. And the 1-1. Swung on and fouled off to the right. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jace Reed. The winner of this game moves to 9-5, and the loser drops to 8-6. Northridge, really, if they don't win this game, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're below Fort Morgan in the RPI. The pitch. And the bender's upstairs. Ball 2, strike 2. Yeah, before today, Fort Morgan was 23rd and Northridge was in the 30s. Somewhere in the 30s. Ortega with a 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. Excellent pitches. Jace Reed strikes out. There's 1 down.
Nice way to start it off.
And that'll bring up the center fielder from the right side, Justice Alcala, who this year's batting .395. They're hitting .308 as a team. So their average is certainly higher than Fort Morgan's, but not much. And that's why the defense is necessary. Strikeouts are great, but you can't rely on those too much. And the offering, and that bounces in. 1 ball and no strikes. Mustangs have 2 games remaining after today at Meade on Tuesday. And they close out the regular season Thursday at 4 o'clock right here against the Erie Tigers. And the 1-0. That is over for a strike at the knees with a fastball. On the inner half, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Yep, every Mustang game right here on B106 throughout the course of the season, which hopefully has got the postseason to go as well. The pitch swung on and lifted into foul territory down the left field line. Long run, still running. McCoy is over, so is Beltran, but they cannot get to the baseball near the fence. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here to Justice Alcala. Oh, this field looks great, doesn't it, Brian?
Beautiful.
I mean, this is in prime condition. They watered it down between games. Game time temperature for Game 2 is 90 degrees. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, just underway. Fort Morgan and Northridge. And the right-hander delivers in the dirt with a breaking ball. Count evens at 2-2. That was the pitch that Jace Reed struck out on. That's why it's a good pitch to throw there, especially when you are ahead in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes, straight up at 4:01 Mountain Time. This is Morgan County's B106. KPRB Brush, Fort Morgan. Swung on, popped up, foul territory. Langford with a play on it is going to make the grab near the fence. Didn't rip off the mask. But as long as he makes the play, that's what counts. There's 2 down.
Yeah, nice job there by Jackson to find that ball and put it away.
2 down for Gannon McGeen. McGeen is tearing up the league, hitting .436, batting from the left side. This is the number 1 hitter average-wise in the Northridge lineup. And the pitch, fastball is up and away. Sorry, Ryan. I nearly broke Brian's right knee with my croc. 1 ball and no strikes with 2 down and the bases empty. Well, Charlie Langford, a freshman, starting at second for the 2nd straight game with the absence of Braden for a couple of games. The pitch swung on and chopped foul up the first base side. Count is level at 1 ball and 1 strike. A 2-0 shutout for the Mustangs over Greeley West. A 7-1 win for Northridge over Greeley Central. So either way, both teams are coming away with at least a win today.
Yeah, Fort Morgan needs to win out, though, if they want to get on into the postseason.
Yeah, so does Northridge. And the offering. That's right there for a strike on the outer half. Thigh high, it's 1-2. Frank Ortega looking for the 1-2-3 first inning. He looks in. And the pitch swung on and popped foul and out of play behind the press box. It remains at a ball and 2 strikes. Here to Gannon McGeen. Frank trying to make this a quick inning. And the pitch swung on, popped foul. That one is headed out of play. Also known as out of play on the third base side. Stays at 1-2. He's thrown a lot of strikes here in the first inning. Going right after these hitters. 1-2 on Gannon McGeen. Well, your defense normally plays better, as we saw in the first game. I mean, even though Jesse Camp had some traffic, but threw a 4-hitter. The offering, up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes, with Kobe Bevins on deck. Already a 16-pitch inning for Frank. And the right-hander kicks and fires. Swung on and line foul up the first base side on the off-speed pitch. Way out in front. Stays at 2-2. Brush Bee Diggers in action on Monday and Wednesday against Platte Valley. Those will be 10-10 KSIR games. So we'll have Morgan County baseball on one station or the other next week from Monday through Thursday. And the playoff bracket to be revealed in about a week. With the regionals on Monday, June 14th, not on a Saturday, on a Monday. 2-2. Swung on and fouled off to the left. Tried to tie him up with a fastball. Remains at 2-2 to Gannon McGeen. That breeze is somewhat significant. I just judge by the flag out in right center. This is a very extended at bat here for McGeen. And the pitch swung on that is lifted into center field. Briggs, Wheatley to his left, camps under it and makes the two-handed grab. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Frank Ortega. Mustang Baseball is brought to you in part by B&B Appliance. Let's head to the bottom of the first inning. Northridge does not score. The Mustangs are coming to bat on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the bottom of the first inning. The Mustangs are going with a different lineup for Game 2. As batting first will be Kale Langford. Jackson Langford at second. Briggs Wheatley normally in the one-hole bats third. Jesse Camp of fourth. Nick Beltran's in the fifth position. Malachi Bills at sixth. Frank Ortega seventh. The DH Colin Farley hits eighth, and Charlie Langford, the second baseman, bats ninth. At first base is Parker Steckel. Kobe Bevins at second. At third is Marks Felix Llamas. The shortstop is Jace Reed as the pitch is delivered by Nick Garland and swung on and grounded left side. Backhanded by the shortstop. No throw. No throw there for Reed. And Kale Langford, who had an infield hit in Game 1, has an infield hit in Game 2. Good start there. Hit it in the right spot around the outfield for this Northridge Grizzly team. In left, it's Brendan Peterson. The center fielder is Justice Alcala. And in right is Gannon McGeen. Behind the plate, Dylan Hubbard. The stretch. Pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the right. Jackson Langford in the opening game was 1 for 2. Also drew a walk. He's drawn 9 walks this season. And very disciplined. Two-step lead. Throw back to first. Back in diving is Kale. Yeah, let's make this easy. Let's get off to a big lead here, Brian.
That would be nice. Get some runs here while we got guys on.
No balls and 1 strike. Northridge was retired in order in the top of the first inning. And Garland comes home. Fastball high. Throw to second as the runner goes to slide. He's going to be in there with a stolen base. Kale Langford with lots of speed. And that's just par for the course for Kale. With that stolen base. 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch. Swung on and lifted down the right field line. That's going to be trouble. Kale's got to take off. That's going to drop for a base hit. He'll get to third. He didn't read it off the bat, but he wanted to make sure. But you could see from here, and there's a different angle when you're on the bases. And Langford delivers beautifully, and 2 Mustangs have not hit the ball particularly hard, but they placed him in the right spot. And this is exactly why Coach Langford made the change. Now you've got Briggs Wheatley, who had 3 hits in the opening game, including the 2-run single that accounted for the only scoring. I mean, you cannot have a better opportunity right now if you are Fort Morgan. Nick Garland, the pitch. Swung on and lifted into foul territory. There's going to be a play, and it's caught out there. Boy, Briggs normally coming through. Pops out. Caught by Mark Felix Llamas. Well, there's only 1 out. You don't want to blow this opportunity.
No.
Here is Jesse Campa. Campa 0 for 3 in Game 1. Runners at the corners. The pitch. And the bender's a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Let's see. The numbers on Nick Garland. He's got an ERA of 6 going into the game. The pitch. Swung on, grounded to short. Could be 2. Flips to second for 1. And back to first, and that's going to be late. They're going to call a double play. Jackson's got to get out of the way. That's a good call. That is a good call. Jackson did not get out of the way or slide in. Oh, man, you cannot be that. Oh, that's a bad play by Jackson. You have got to get out of the way or slide in. He did not do either. And that's an automatic double play. And Fort Morgan blows a first and third no-out opportunity as we head to the top of the second inning. No score between the Mustangs and Grizzlies on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the top of the second inning. No score. The Mustangs at first and third, nobody out. Briggs Wheatley flew out, and a grounder to short by Jesse Campa that would have scored a run because the flip to second was in time, but it was slow. But for some reason, Jackson Langford did not get out of the way, did not slide. He impeded the throw to first. That's an interference and an automatic 6-4-3 double play. And hopefully that does not turn into a monumental mistake by the time this game is over, but in the short term it is. Here is Kobe Bevins out of the 4-hole. From the right side, the pitch. Fastball is upstairs. Bevins hitting .235. Brian, the base running continues to be pretty bad.
Yep.
Pretty bad. Wine in the 1-0 pitch. And that is over but low.
Yeah, got picked off 3 times in that first game.
Well, it's just, even on the bases where they're, not taking 2 bases when you have it, 2-0, swing and a miss with a fastball. Yeah, I mean, they got to work on base running. But they don't want to be working on it this game. They want to win this game and then work on it before the next game because it has not been good. They won the first game on pitching and more pitching. The pitch. And that's a strike on the outer half with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No score. But again, Fort Morgan blowing a huge opportunity in the bottom of the first inning. Bevins awaiting the pitch. Langford lays down the sign. Ortega kicks and fires. Swung on and popped up to second baseman Charlie Langford. 3 steps out into the grass, comes in and makes the 2-handed grab. There's 1 down.
Nice job by that freshman out there. He's had a good day out in the defense.
That'll send up the number 5 hitter, Mark Felix Llamas. A .314 hitter out of the 5-hole. And another righty here for Northridge. Such a big chance to lead 1-0, 2-0, and it's still 0-0. The pitch. Swung on and grounded sharply left side. A nice diving play by Langford. And the toss to first for the out. Charlie Langford on that ball headed for right field. An outstanding play. The freshman made a play that was more senior laden, 2 down. And that's exactly why he's out there.
Yeah,
2 down.
Looks good out there.
Well, he's comfortable. Here's Bubba Hernandez. That's the type of defense that will get you to the playoffs. Hernandez batting .304. The pitch. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. On a pitch that was up in the zone. No balls and 1 strike. John Beltran with Brian Nickel. Both teams won today against separate schools. Now playing each other. Ortega with a kick in the pitch. Fastball is low and away. A ball and a strike to Bubba Hernandez. And the pitch in the dirt. Ball 2, strike 1. Brendan Peterson waits to hit next. Frank trying to maintain the role that he's on right now. With 2 down and the bases empty. In the top of the second, no score. The offering. Swing and a miss at a pitch at around letter level. Ball 2, strike 2.
He liked the looks of it, just couldn't catch up with it.
Yeah. Oh, he's bringing a little bit of heat there.
Yep.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And the offering. And that's low. Fastball below the knees, 3-2. That was pitch number 30 for Frank Ortega. Through 1 2/3 innings. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch coming to Bubba Hernandez. And he bounced that one in off the glove of Langford. It's a walk. That's the first base runner for Northridge. And that'll bring up Brendan Peterson. Peterson comes in hitting .357. Again, they're hitting over 300, 308 as a team coming in. Well, you get this guy out, you got 8, 9, and 1, so it's still not bad. You don't want to start the 3rd inning with a number 1 hitter. Maybe a number 9 hitter, but not a number 1. Short lead at first, the pitch. Strike, fastball on the inner half at the knees. No balls and one strike. The Mustangs had 2 hits in the first and stranded runners at first and third. Well, they had them with no out, but a pop-up and a 6-4-3 double play, or an automatic double play. The pitch swung on and fisted foul off to the right side. No balls and 2 strikes. Parker Steckel, who started against Fort Morgan the first game back in early May, is waiting to hit next. 0-2 to Brendan Peterson. Ortega at the chest. The pitch. Fastball is high. A ball and 2 strikes to the Northridge left fielder. Short lead at first. Doesn't look like a threat to run. The pitch. Curveball called. Strike 3 on the outer half. And Peterson goes down looking. As Northridge strands a base runner, Mustang Baseball is brought to you in part by Bank of Colorado. Let's head to the bottom of the second inning. No score between Fort Morgan and Northridge from Legion Field on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Nick Beltran steps in to begin the second inning. No score between Fort Morgan and Northridge. The pitch, and that is low. 1 ball and no strikes from Nick Garland. The Mustangs have the only hits of the game from Kale Langford and Jackson Langford. Beltran 0 for 3 in game 1. The offering. Tapped foul on the off-speed to the screen. Count levels at a ball and a strike to the senior shortstop. Looking to break out of an 0 for 5 dating back to the Holy Family game. And the pitch. And that's in the dirt with a breaking ball. Good read there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, he could bunt his way on, too, considering how, well, in at third, but we'll see. I think he's swinging away here. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch, and that is on the outside corner. Wow. Well, that got the extreme outside corner. I don't think Nick liked that one. That looked like it was a little bit off the plate. 2-2. And Garland delivers. Swung on line, base hit into center field, and that's the way to snap out of it. Leading off the second inning with a base hit is Nick Beltran. And that was an off-speed pitch. It sat up in the zone for him. And he was able to pound it. Fort Morgan now has 3 hits in the game. But again, Brian, can they capitalize?
Yeah, they're gonna have to against this Northridge team because they can put some numbers up on the board.
Malachi Bill's the hitter. The pitch, and that's inside. A ball and no strikes. Bills in game 1 was 1 for 2, but he had base running issues. Again, you can get a hit, but you got to be smart on the base pass. The offering swung on and lifted towards second base. Beltran back to first, catch made by Kobe Bevins. 1 down. And he got fooled on that one, completely fooled. He stuck out his bat. And anytime you're ahead in the count, you got to be sure. Let's see if Frank can help his own cause with 1 down and 1 on. Bottom of the second inning, no score. With Fort Morgan and Northridge, both teams at 8 and 5 going in. Beltran with a short lead at first. The stretch. And the pitch. Swung on line, base hit, left field. Beltran will stay at second as that ball was hit sharply to the right of the shortstop, Jace Reed, and the Mustangs have 2 hits in each of the first 2 innings. But they need a bigger hit now. Colin Farley is looking to snap out of a little slump here. In the month of June, Farley is 0 for 6. This would be a good time to get a base hit and get the Mustangs on the board. The junior DH. Oh, waits the pitch. Swing and a miss. He might have been out in front there. No balls and 1 strike.
You got that right side. If he'll just go opposite field with that first baseman on the bag.
Yeah, Colin usually goes middle left, though. He pulls it quite a bit, but he can go up the middle. Let's see. And the offering. Swung on, grounded right back to the mound. Could be 2 to second. That is 1, and he slid in. But what happened there? Now they tagged him out. Well, that was a slide that was well short of the bag by Ortega.
Well, I think he tagged him out, and then he dropped the ball, and then he picked it up again because he hadn't got onto the base yet.
Well, the fielder's choice is going to go 1 to 4. an unusual looking play, but at least Frankie did slide in there. And there's 2 down. Here is Charlie Langford, his first at bat. The freshman just made a tremendous defensive play. Can he do it on the offensive side? Langford with his second varsity at bat. He's 0 for 1. Runners take their leads from the corners. The pitch, strike, fastball, inner half. Thigh high, it's 0-1. Boy, you hate to see half the lineup get base hits and then you don't convert at all. Wild pitch would help here just to get Morgan on the scoreboard. Short leads for both runners. The offering, fastball is upstairs. And there's a delayed steal by Farley, but he's going to, no throw. A base hit scores 2 if it's in the outfield. A ball and a strike. Out of the windup. And the pitch. That is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 to Langford. Ahead in the count with Kale Langford on deck. 3 Langfords in a row. Pitch. Low. Ball 3, strike 1. Well, the last time that Kale was up there with the bases loaded was against Holy Family in the first inning, a 2-run single. He'll get up there if Charlie can reach via the walk. And the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Pitch down in the zone. It's 3-2. Got to protect here with 2 in scoring position. The Mustangs stranded 2 in the first inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The offering. Down and away. It skips away. Here comes Beltran towards the plate. He's going to score on the wild pitch. And the Mustangs lead 1-0. Brian, just what we needed.
Yeah, that we'll take anything. But nice base running that time. The guys on the base saw that pitch get by.
Yeah, Nick got a little bit of a slow start from third, but eventually scored because he didn't eat the lunch that I did.
Yeah.
Here is Kale Langford. Kale with a base hit his first time up. Big lead for Charlie at first, about a 3-step advantage. Garland, the right-hander, comes home. Swung on and driven deep into left center field. And that one is way back, and he dives. And the ball is, nope, it's loose out there. Langford's going to round third. There's going to be a play at the plate to throw the slide. And he slides in easily. No, he jumps. They're going to call him out.
Said they tagged him.
They're going to call him out, but he leaped. He leaped over. A run did score, but he leaped over. That should have been safe. He leaped over the catcher. Josh Langford is incensed. Give Kale a double, but it looked like he leaped over, and he's going to be gunned down at the plate. Wow. And it's 2-0 Fort Morgan in the inning. The Mustangs on that wild play scored 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and a man left. We have played 2 innings with the score. Fort Morgan 2, Northridge 0 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.
We go to the top of the third. Mustangs lead at 2-0 after plating 2 there in the bottom of the second. Looks like they could have had a third, but called out on the leaping.
Well, according to Shelby Langford, it said, well, he didn't slide, but how's he supposed to slide? There's no lane there.
Yeah.
0 lane.
So Ortega with the pitch, and that is going to be low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes, but the Mustangs do lead 2-0. Like they did in the previous game today. Got 2 runs in the second inning. Ortega gets his sign from Langford. And the pitch, and that is fouled back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
What's the chances of them scoring 2 runs in the second inning in each game? I don't know, but ask Pete Rose.
So Ortega with the sign and the delivery. And that is inside. Ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. To Parker Steckel, the first baseman for the Grizzlies. Ortega with the pitch. That's going to be up and away. 3 balls and 1 strike.
This is the number 8 hitter again. You want to get these hitters out, these 8 and 9 hitters. on that double, a run did score ahead of the out at the plate by Charlie Langford.
Frankie with a pitch, and that's going to be fouled off to the right and out of play. So full count now on Parker Steckel. 40 total pitches so far for Frankie, 16 balls, 24 strikes. As we play here in the top of the third inning. Wind blowing in right now. Ortega with the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss. Strike three.
He blew the fastball right by him, Brian. That's, I believe, the second strikeout for Frank Ortega. Make it 3.
So Frankie having a good day on the mound. So that brings up Dylan Hubbard, the catcher, number 9 hitter. As Frankie looks into Jackson for the sign and the delivery, and that is in there for a strike. Frankie ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike.
Hubbard hitting .250 going into the game.
The delivery, and that's going to be hit for a single out into left field, right over the shortstop, Nick Beltran.
Hung a breaking ball there. But this gives an opportunity for a double play, and Jace Reed, who struck out his first time up, I would assume he's hard to double up. Normally your leadoff hitter is the guy who can run.
Got a courtesy runner over at first. And that is going to be Jackson Jenkins.
Or as Brian calls him, the alliterative one. Oh, so do I.
Frankie checking his runner over at first. Now he's going to go over, but back in safely is Jenkins.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see if they can turn a double play here with a senior and a freshman in the middle of the infield, because Charlie's been very good at second base.
Ortega checks his runner and the pitch, and that is going to be low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Should be 1 ball and no strikes. That's what I get for reading the board. Ortega to throw over, but back in safely is Jenkins. Ortega trying to keep him close over there as he gets his sign and the delivery, and that is going to be up and away for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, now he's got to worry more about the hitter with 2-0. Forget about that base runner for now. He does have a 2-step lead, but not as much of a threat to run.
Frankie checks on him, gets his sign and the delivery, and that ball is going to be chopped to the shortstop. To second for 1, on to first, and that ball is going to be in the dirt, but it will be backed up nicely down there by Jackson Langford. So Jace Reed will be safe at first.
Not sure they would have had 2 anyway. It was a little bit of a chopper, which are normally difficult to make double plays out of. And again, Charlie really hasn't played much second in terms of relaying from second to first at the varsity level on the back ends of the double plays. Justice Alcala now the hitter. Sorry, Brian, you're looking at your...
Yeah, I'm still...
That's a fastball for a strike at the knees. 2 down, 1 on. When Brian's cut up on I-score, I will hand it over to him. All right, I think you're good to go now.
Good to go.
0-1.
So Frankie checks his runner over at first and the pitch, and that's going to be hit to the third baseman, Campa, over to first, and in time for out number 3 as the Grizzlies do not score. We will go to the bottom of the third with the Mustangs leading 2-0 on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. To the bottom of the third we go with Jackson Langford to lead off. He'll be followed by Briggs Wheatley and Jesse Campa, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, with the Mustangs leading at 2-0 as they plated 2 in the bottom of the second. Jackson is 1 for 1 with a single. And the pitch, and that is going to be low and in the dirt for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes.
I mean, Jackson has done so well, Brian, here out of the 2-hole this season. He's really been effective. That's why he stayed in that 2-hole.
So Garland with the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss.
As I said that was one of the worst swings he's ever taken. He pulled his left foot and he did not use any lower body, but it's only 1-1.
So 1 ball, 1 strike, and the pitch. And that is a swing and a miss.
And that might have been his second worst swing of the season, a breaking ball.
Yeah.
And he's not seeing it. Even the first one that he got a base hit on, he just lifted it down the right field line, which was very good on his part, but he's got to adjust right now.
And the pitch. And that is a foul, I believe, off the end of the bat, was it?
Yep, check swing. Might have even got close to the knob.
So the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch. And that is going to be chopped foul down the first baseline.
Okay, I like what he did there. He just waited, and got a piece of it. He's waiting for his pitch.
So count continues to stay at 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jackson Langford.
One of these odd days where Fort Morgan scored 2 runs in the second and beat Greeley West 2-0. Same situation here in the third.
So Garland with the pitch, and that is going to be chopped foul down the third baseline. So working Garland here a little bit, 29 total pitches for Garland, 21 strikes, 8 balls. As Garland gets his sign from Hubbard. And the pitch, and that is going to be hit out to the second baseman. Up with it and over to first is Kobe Bevins. But out at first will be Jackson Langford.
Is this going to be another pitcher's duel as we saw in game 1 with Villegas of Greeley West and Jesse Campa of Fort Morgan, who went the distance on 106 pitches, tossing a 4-hitter.
So Briggs Wheatley up at the plate. He is 0 for 1 on a fly out to a pop out to the third baseman, and that is a swing and a miss.
Well, he pulled his entire body there. He's got to sit back a little bit. He had 3 hits in the opening game, so he's been hot today.
Garland with the pitch, and that's going to be a base hit out into right field. And Wheatley will turn and look, but he will stay at first.
Brian, that's when you're hot. He got fooled on the pitch, hit it off the end of the bat, but had enough on it to hit it into right field. He's got 4 hits on the day, and Briggs Wheatley leads his team now in hitting. And now you've got the 4 and 5 hitters coming up.
Well, Jesse Campa, he grounded out his first time up. Let's see if we can move Briggs along here, get a base hit or a home run over the left field fence. I'll take either. Back safely is Wheatley at first.
Mustangs have 6 hits in the game, and Northridge has 1 as we play in the bottom of the third.
And the pitch, and that is going to be hit to the third baseman out at second and over at first, and that is a double play. So that will end this this bottom of the third, as Jesse Campa hits into a double play. We go to the top of the 4th inning with the Mustangs leading 2-0 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. To the top of the 4th we go. It will be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Northridge. Gannon McGee, right fielder, then followed by Kobe Bevins and Mark Felix Yamas. As they continue to warm up here.
Yeah, this is the dangerous part of the order for Northridge, but Frankie retired the first 5 hitters in the game, and that's what eliminated any possibility of a threat. But instead of going 4, 5, 6 in this inning, you're going 3, 4, 5. And again, in a 2-0 game, every pitch is so critical.
So Gannon McGee bats in from the left side. As Frankie Ortega gets himself gathered out there on the hill. Looks into Langford for the sign. And the delivery. And that ball is going to be fouled back out of play.
Nice breaking ball. He had him totally fooled there out in front. You got to be careful with McGee. He can swing it. He proved that. Let's see what he did back in May.
So Frankie gets his sign. And the pitch. And that ball is going to be chopped. They're going to call it foul. Just foul down the first baseline.
Yeah, he was actually 0 for 4, but he's got a good swing. He was 0 for 4 on May 6th, but don't count this kid out. And as you mentioned, he flew to center in the first inning. But I like his swing.
No balls, 2 strikes to the number 3 batter, Gannon McGee. Frankie with a pitch, and that is going to be hit out to Langford at second. Comes up with it over to first to Malachi Bills, and out number one is recorded here in the top of the fourth inning. And that will bring up Kobe Bevins.
I tell you, Braden Fajardo is a huge loss, being an experienced junior, but Charlie Langford has stepped in as a freshman and done a tremendous job here at second base, and he probably should have scored that third run if not for the call at the plate.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job for the Mustangs here today. Frankie with a pitch, and that is going to be chopped foul down the third baseline. So no balls and one strike to the second baseman for Northridge this afternoon.
And again, that's why you want to extend the lead when you're up there, because this team, like you said, they can swing it. And at some point they could get hot, and they can reverse Fort Morgan's fortunes.
Ortega with a delivery, and that bounces in. That evens the count now, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Northridge in their road grays, Fort Morgan in their new uniforms they debuted last year, but didn't have any varsity games a year ago.
Ortega with a pitch, and that breaking ball is in there for a strike. Nice looking pitch there by Frankie Ortega. Gets him in the lead now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So we'll see what he throws him here, if he can get him to chase. Going to set up outside a little bit, and just outside, ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, you can set up out there, and that's a competitive pitch there. You got to have the guy thinking. That's a really good pitch, but Bevins took it.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And the pitch, and that ball is going to be nubbed. It's going to be foul. Up the third baseline about 15 feet.
Brian, I was only going to have breakfast and then dinner, but now I had breakfast and lunch, and that might be it. I hate to call it a day at 3:30 with a lunch. That didn't seem feasible.
I think you'll be looking for something about 9 o'clock.
Let's see if they win the game. Then that might change the appetite.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. Swing in the foul at the plate. Count continues at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I tell you, he's got his breaking ball working really well today. Ortega, through 3 1/3 innings, has allowed a hit, and Fort Morgan has 6 hits in a game and 2 runs.
So Cody Bevins back in at the plate. Ortega with a delivery, and that ball is going to be popped up, but it's going to be out of play to the left. And the count will continue to stay at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out.
Like a good neighbor, Greg Mullen and his team are there to make the insurance world easy for you at State Farm Insurance. 842-4555. Greg Mullen at State Farm Insurance.
Frankie looking in to get his sign from Langford behind the plate. And the pitch. And that is going to be hit to Beltran at short. Comes up with it over to first, but they're going to, said he was in time. That is a bang-bang play there.
I mean, that was bang-bang. I couldn't tell. I mean, naked eye, that is so close. That is so close. That, I mean, that could have been called safe as easily as out.
Yeah. Yeah, the first base coach not real happy, but it could have went either way, and it went the Mustangs' way.
I would not have had an issue if that was safe.
No.
Let's put it that way.
Nope. So 2 outs now, and that is going to be a foul at the plate to Mark Felix Yamas.
But that's the defense you need, Brian, if you're going to make to the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to have the defense out there. That's what they're out there for. So no balls, 1 strike. Frankie Ortega gets his sign from Langford. Bases are empty with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And the pitch. And that is apparently low.
Yeah.
For ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to the number 5 hitter and third baseman Mark Felix Yamas. Ortega with the pitch and the delivery. And that once again is apparently low and outside.
Yeah, same location. just below the knees, and he's down in the count 2-1, but the bases are empty with 2 down in the 4th inning, and Fort Morgan up 2-0 on Northridge.
On deck is Bubba Hernandez. Frankie set, and the pitch. And that is going to be low, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. So we'll have to come in with a pitch here. Behind in the count. See what he comes in with, and if Mark Felix Yamas, see what he does with it. Frankie with the pitch, and that's going to be up and away for the walk. So now a runner on with 2 outs. Brings up Bubba Hernandez. He walked his first time up. So we'll see what Ortega can do here with a runner on. He needs to keep his attention at the plate. Yes, he checks Langford at home, then checks his runner over at first. Frankie with the pitch. That ball is going to be popped up down the right field line and going after it. Let's see if Charlie can get there. Cannot quite get there as it lands on the warning track there, but nice hustle out there by Charlie and Malachi and Kale Langford as they all converge, but still ends up just a foul ball. So no balls, 1 strike to the number 6 hitter, Bubba Hernandez, with a runner on, and the Mustangs leading 2-0 here in the top of the 4th. Frankie waiting for Kale to get back into right field and settles in out there. Now Frankie checks his runner and the pitch. And that is going to be fouled off to the right and out of play. So ahead in the count now is Frankie, no balls and 2 strikes.
I'll tell you right now, I go above the letters with a pitch, Brian. I go fastball right above the letters, get him swinging, and he might go fishing there to register the 3rd out of the frame.
So Frankie checks his runner, comes to the set, and the pitch. And that is going to be called a ball.
Yeah, he didn't go at it.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't know if it was going to be.
Yeah, he did not wave at that pitch.
No. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Frankie checks his runner once again, gets the sign from Langford, and the pitch. And that time it looked like he did. No, they're going to call out at first base after the drop 3rd strike, but no damage done here by Northridge. So the Mustangs lead it 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. To the bottom of the 4th we go. And the Mustangs will send up Nick Beltran, Malachi Bills, and Frank Ortega. With the Mustangs leading at 2-0 here at Legion Field in Fort Morgan. A beautiful afternoon here, about 90 degrees, I believe it was a little bit ago, with a slight breeze blowing in from the outfield.
This is the way the 2nd inning started with Beltran leading off. We got a base hit in that inning. Let's see if they can repeat that.
So Garland with a pitch, and that pitch is low and outside for ball 1. Garland with 34 total pitches, 25 strikes, 9 balls. As he gets his sign and the delivery, and that is going to be way outside. 2 balls and no strikes to the number 5 hitter, Beltran. As he bats in from the left side. On deck is Malachi Bills. And the pitch, and that ball is going to be fouled off to the left and out of play.
Yeah, I hate to be the critic, but I don't know why he swung at that pitch. It was a strike, but that's a 2-0 fastball rearing in on the hitter. That's not a good pitch to put in play.
So 2 balls, 1 strike. Garland with the pitch, and that is way outside and up also. So 3 balls and 1 strike.
That's another reason you don't swing at that previous pitch, because you could get yourself out. And now you have a 3-1, and it's got to be a beach ball for him to swing at it.
So Garland gets his sign from Hubbard. And the pitch, and that ball is going to be put into play out into left field. I don't know if the left fielder found it or not. I guess he does. And he puts it away, does Brendan Peterson, for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Again, a pitch rearing in. You got to pull that pitch. Yep, I don't know, but he'll figure it out. And again, I might be more the critic to him, but Did get a base hit his first time up, and let's see what Malachi could do, because he's been a hot hitter, but of late trying to find himself once again after leading the team in hitting for a long time.
So Garland with the pitch, and that ball is going to be hit. Nice single out to right field between first and second. So Malachi gets it started here after Beltran flies out. So that will bring up Frank Ortega. See if he can help his cause here with one out here in the bottom of the fourth as he gets his signal from head coach Josh Langford down at third. Malachi with a short lead over at first.
That's 7 hits now for Fort Morgan.
So Garland with the pitch, and that pitch is outside for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's why hits don't matter, Brian.
Yeah.
You have 7 hits to 1, but you're only up 2-0 in the fourth inning.
So Garland checks on Bills over at first. Over to first, but back in on his belly is Malachi Bills. Back in safely. As Frankie gets back in the batter's box, Garland gets his sign from Hubbard. Checks Bills over at first, comes to the set. And the delivery, and that is way inside. Frankie had to back away from that one. So 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. With 1 on here in the bottom of the fourth, with the Mustangs leading at 2-0. So Frank ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch, and that's going to be way up and out, away from the batter. 3 balls and no strikes. He'll be taken here.
Keep in mind that Garland's only walked 1 in the game, and he's got no strikeouts, so Fort Morgan's been putting the ball in play. And the take sign is there, obviously, for Frank. They're going to have to throw 2 by him before Farley gets up there. Or at least 2.
Yep. You got to be taken here. As Garland with the pitch, and that is low. So a 4-ball walk. Now first and second with 1 out, and Colin Farley comes to the plate. So we'll see what Colin can do. He is 0 for 1 on a fielder's choice. Yes, Coach Langford lays down the signals out there. And Farley gets in at the plate. On deck is going to be Charlie Langford. Garland with the pitch. And that is a swing and a miss. That was a ball that was up.
Colin's not a good enough hitter to be swinging at that. Nobody really is. But when you're slumping like he is, he's got to be more disciplined.
So Garland checks his runner and the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss.
He's just throwing straight cheese right by him. Colin's got to shorten up that swing and try to go to right field with a 2-0 Fort Morgan lead in the fourth inning. And 2 on and 1 out here. There's a situation that could give the Mustangs a bigger lead.
And the pitch, and that is going to be popped up out into center field. I don't think that they let it drop between them, but Malachi is going to be forced at third.
Yeah, nothing you could do. That's going to go 8-5 on the force. So that's not even a base hit. It's a fielder's choice. They figured it was going to be caught, but they got the lead out at third. That's too bad. Here's Charlie Langford. Yeah, that was in no man's land, but I thought it was going to be caught. And so did Malachi. And really nothing he could do there. That's not a base running miscue. Nothing he could do.
So now 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth with 2 on still, and that is foul off to the right by Charlie Langford. He walked his first time up.
And if he can go to right field, that could score the run. Frank Ortega, plenty of speed at second.
Nice gap out there right over the second baseman out into right field. Charlie can connect, and that is a swing and a miss. So behind in the count now is Langford. No balls, 2 strikes. Nick Garland checks his runners, comes to the set, and the delivery, and that is going to be fouled out of play off to the right. Count stays at no balls, 2 strikes to the number 9 hitter, Charlie Langford. And if he happens to reach Kale Langford on deck here in the bottom of the fourth. with 2 on. And Garland with a pitch. And that ball is going to be hit out into right field. That should score Frankie Ortega. They'll send him, and it's cut off. And nice job there by Charlie Langford on that single to right. And that brings in Frank Ortega from second to make the score now 3-0 Fort Morgan as we play here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Wow, what a big hit for Charlie. Again, he did exactly what he had to do, go the other way. And let's see if Kale, who's already 2 for 2 in the game, Brian, can extend the lead. Well, that's a great piece of hitting by the freshman. Great piece of hitting.
So first and second now for the Mustangs with Kale Langford up at the plate. And the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss by Kale. But runners out at first and second with Farley at second and Charlie Langford at first. Garland's pitch, and that is a swing and a miss. Kale looked confused on that pitch.
Well, he got fooled on the breaking ball that time. But again, he is 2 for 2.
Behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And the pitch, and that's going to be in the dirt. Nice job there by Hubbard to keep that in front of him, to keep the Mustangs from advancing. So now 1 ball, 2 strikes as Hubbard gets settled back in behind the plate. Garland checks his runners and the pitch, and that's going to be a hit out into right field. That will score Farley and advance Langford to second. So nice job there by Kale Langford to make the score now 4-0 Fort Morgan.
Nice job of pulling that pitch into left on a 1-2 count too, and Kale's 3 for 3. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Brian, he's not getting out of that number 1 hole. They're going to keep him there in future games because Briggs Wheatley is an RBI guy. You slip him down to the 3. This lineup just got that much stronger.
Now Jackson Langford up at the plate. He is 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out, and that pitch is in for a strike. So the Mustangs coming through here with a couple of clutch hits here in the bottom of the 4th to get a couple of runs in.
5 o'clock Mountain Time. This is Morgan County's B106 KPRB Brush, Fort Morgan.
And the pitch, and that's going to be fouled off to the right and out of play. So behind in the count is Jackson Langford. No balls and 2 strikes. As they get a couple of balls that have been fouled off back into the home plate umpire. Charlie Langford out at second. Kale Langford at first. Jackson Langford at the plate. And the pitch. And that is going to be low for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Mustangs leading at 4-0 as they have played at 2 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Garland with a delivery, and that's going to be low. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good read there by Jackson, Brian. He could have easily swung at that pitch, but decided that was not going to be in the strike zone.
So Garland gathers himself out there a little bit on the mound, gets back on the rubber. Dylan Hubbard behind the plate gives him the sign. And the pitch, and that ball is going to be hit out into right field, and it will be caught out there by Gannon McGee. So that will bring the inning to a close, but the Mustangs put 2 on the board for the 4-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, the top of the 5th inning, excuse me. The Mustangs leading at 4-0 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. To the top of the 5th we go. In the bottom of the 4th inning, the Mustangs had 2 runs with 3 hits, no errors. They had 2 left on. So we will go now to the top of 5, with Brendan Peterson, Parker Steckel, and Dylan Hubbard, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for Northridge, as they're still warming up Frankie Ortega here in the top of the 5th.
2 out hitting by the Mustangs. RBI singles by Charlie Langford and Kale Langford. That's exactly why you write the first name out. You put C. Langford, you don't know the difference unless the uniform number's there.
Right. So a family affair here this afternoon right now for the Langfords. But
and you got to keep pitching and playing defense here. You mentioned Northridge can hit the baseball, and even though they've been limited to a base hit in the game. That means nothing in the fifth inning. You still got 9 outs to get, and they get harder with every single hitter.
So Frankie back out on the mound with 68 pitches. And his delivery, and that ball is going to be hit right to Campa at third, over to first. Nice job over there. Jesse Campa on the throw over to Malachi Bills for out number 1 on pitch number 1 here in the top of the fifth.
That pitch was scorched. That ball was scorched off the bat of the Northridge hitter, and Jesse just stayed with it and fielded it cleanly. And again, we've seen 3 really good plays here.
Yep.
Charlie Langford, then Nick Beltran, and then Jesse Campa in the infield. Those were all outs.
Yep.
Those could have been game changers if those guys get on.
Yeah, the defense has come to play here this afternoon for Frankie. And the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss. So a nice job there by Frankie to get that ball by Parker Steckel. He is 0 for 1 on a strikeout. No balls, 1 strike, 4-0 Fort Morgan here in the top of 5. And that pitch gets by Langford to the backstop. 1 ball, 1 strike.
4 strikeouts so far for Ortega, so he's relied primarily on his defense to keep this shutout going.
Ortega checks Langford behind the plate. And the pitch. And that breaking ball, nice looking pitch there by Frankie. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Parker Steckel. Frankie with a delivery. And that is going to be fouled out of play off to the right. Count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes to the number 8 hitter.
Yeah, we wish the run discrepancy was as big as the hit discrepancy. 9 hits for the Mustangs, 1 for Northridge, 4-0 in the top of the 5th.
And Frankie with a delivery, and that is going to be outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck is Dylan Hubbard, the catcher. Frankie checks in for the sign. And the pitch. And that is a big swing and a miss. 4 strike 3 for the second out here in the top of the 5th inning. That will bring up Dylan Hubbard with 2 outs and nobody on. We'll see if Frankie can get him 1, 2, 3 here in the 5th.
Well, Hubbard's the only one who singled. The only base hit came off the bat of this hitter from the right side.
As Frankie with the pitch, and that is going to be low for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to the number 9 hitter. The Mustangs leading at 4-0 here, top of 5. And the pitch, and that ball is going to be hit out into the right field. Let's see if it stays foul. It does stay foul. I guess once it stays foul, it's probably going to be foul.
That's a good point, Brian, especially in the air. Now on the ground, I mean, unless we're hallucinating here.
That's a possibility sometimes. But.
Well, if it's hit by a lefty, you never know. But by a righty, it usually tails away and towards the line and away from the line.
So Kale runs that down, gets it back into play. So a long strike for Dylan Hubbard.
B&B Appliance and Repair, from refrigerators to vacuums and everything in between. They have exactly what you need. And service it too. B&B Appliance and Repair.
So 1-1 the count. Frankie Ortega with the pitch. And that ball is going to be fouled off to the right and out of play once again. So Frankie in front, 1 ball, 2 strikes. With 2 outs here in the top of 5. Brandon Peterson, Parker Steckel. First 2 outs here. Frankie with the pitch, and that is in there for a called strike 3 as we go now to the bottom of 5 with the Mustangs leading at 4-0 on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. So Frankie Ortega on the day with 6 strikeouts. And it looks like we have a new pitcher out there, it looks like, number 18.
Yeah, that would be for... Do you have him on the roster? That's not Garland still? That is a different number.
Has it been Garland? Maybe it's been Garland the whole time.
Yeah, I think it probably has.
It looks like it should be.
Yeah, I think it's the same pitcher, just with a different number than we had earlier.
And the pitch to Briggs Wheatley is low for ball 1.
Actually, he's listed at 10 on Max Preps and 18 on the starting lineup, so
Okay.
he was just wearing a different number.
And the pitch by Garland is going to be hit out to the second baseman. And off of the second baseman, Bevins. So an error out there on the second baseman. But that gets Briggs on.
Well, again, there was only one error in the first game, and that's the first error of the second game. And now with the heart of the order still coming up here, Jesse Campa with a chance to deliver, but just grounded into a double play his last time up. He's 0 for 2.
And the pitch. And that is going to be low and away for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, the Mustangs are pretty good with the even number innings. 2 runs in the second of game 1, 2 runs in the second of game 2, and 2 runs in the 4th.
So we'll see if they can change that here in the 5th. Wheatley takes off, and that's going to be hit and run out to left field. And Wheatley will go to second base, or third base, excuse me, on the hit and run. So nice job there by Jesse Campa to advance the runner and also get on at first. So runners now at first and third. And Nick Beltran is up at the plate. He is 1 for 2. He singled his first time up and then flied out his last time up.
And again, they're going to try and tie him up with that inside pitch. It's been successful today. He's either got to pull that pitch or not swing at it.
The umpire now already got everybody in their positions here with Garland out on the plate. Beltran in at the left side. Jesse Campa at first. Briggs Wheatley at third. Garland checks Campa over at first. And the pitch. And that is going to be fouled at the plate.
Yeah, he's way out in front. That's an off-speed pitch. He's got to be aware of what they're going to throw him here because they need outs, and they don't need another run to score for Fort Morgan, trailing 4-0 to the Mustangs in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Playing about halfway in. And Garland checks Campa once again over at first. Beltran awaits the pitch. And the pitch. And that is going to catch the outside part of the plate for strike 2.
And he's change-upping all over the place, if that's a word. A lot of change-ups here.
So Beltran behind in the count now. No balls, 2 strikes. Campa at first. Wheatley at third. And the pitch. And that's going to be chopped out to the second baseman. And they're going to go to second for 1. But they do get the RBI here as Wheatley does score from third. So nice job there by Beltran to get the run in.
That's all you need there, just a bouncer on the right side. And it's now 5-0 Fort Morgan.
So that will now bring up Malachi Bills as he bats in from the left side. And that pitch is a ball.
Right side.
Right side, excuse me.
Sorry.
Left side to us.
Well, that's a good point.
You know.
Yeah, it's about where we're sitting.
Yeah,
it's a good point, Brian.
That isn't how they look at it. So
no.
And the pitcher going to throw over to first, but back in safely is Beltran.
Nice dig out there by the first baseman Steckel on a ball in the dirt. Fort Morgan has 10 hits in the game. And Kale Langford has 3 of them.
So Garland with the pitch, and Beltran has got the steal standing up. A strike called at the plate, but Beltran will glide into second base on the stolen base. So another runner in scoring position here for Malachi Bills. As the Mustangs lead it now 5-0, they did score here in an uneven numbered inning. And the pitch, and that ball is hit out into left field. And Beltran is going to round third. The ball is going to be cut off. So run number 6 comes in as Malachi Bills with the RBI makes it now 6-0 here, Fort Morgan, in the bottom of the 5th inning.
This is why when you swing all the way through, Brian. He swung all the way through on a pitch that clearly fooled him, but because he had the follow-through in a swing, the ball was able to tail down the left field line, scoring Nick. And we will have a visit to the hill. Let's see if we might have a pitching change as the Mustangs, for the 4th time today, have scored 2 runs in an inning, and that will be the ball for Nick Garland. We'll have a new pitcher for Northridge in the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll tell you about him in less than 2 minutes. With the score, it is Fort Morgan 6, Northridge nothing, as Mustang Baseball is brought to you in part by Stubbs Gas and Oil on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.
So the new pitcher for Northridge is Colin Gilly.
Let's run the numbers here, Brian, on the right-hander for Northridge. In relief of Nick Garland, the runners on base are still his responsibility. This is his 3rd appearance. What's your shoe size?
12.
His is a 12.92 ERA. How about that? That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I was being a clown there, but I had a feeling his ERA and your shoe size were fairly similar.
Pretty close.
So, well, but you don't add the .92.
No, that would be like a 13.
Right, exactly. That would be a 13. But the Mustangs with a 6-0 lead, and they got a chance to tack on more, Brian, with
got Malachi at first, only 1 out. Frankie can help himself out here a little bit more.
But you don't want to assume that this game is over yet. I know it looks comfortable, and I know Frankie's throwing a 1-hitter, but who cares? You know, you don't want to develop bad habits, especially mentally, just because you've got a sizable lead. Because Northridge did score 12 runs on May 6th in a 1-run victory in Greeley.
So Frankie at the plate, a single and a walk. And that pitch is low for ball 1 from Colin Gilly.
I tell you what, with Frankie, he does well on Saturdays. Last week, a homer and a RBI single on a Saturday.
Yep, we need to change more of these games to Saturdays for Frankie. Colin Gilly with the pitch, and that is going to be outside, ball 2. So ahead in the count now is Frank Ortega, 2 balls and no strikes. Nice crowd here from Northridge as they watch on. Nice crowd here for the Mustangs. And that pitch is going to be in there for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. As Langford Ortega, looks down to Coach Langford for his sign. Malachi Bills gets his lead over at first, about a 2-step lead. Gilly's going to check on him over there. And the pitch home, and that ball is going to be popped foul out of play. So 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This is as balanced a league as I've ever seen, whether they're in the league or not. Northridge is. Greeley West was not, but you look at a bunch of these one-loss records, 7-5, 8-5, 8-6, 7-6.
So Gilly with the pitch, and that ball bounces in, but Hubbard keeps it in front of him. Keeps Malachi Bills at first base.
What would you say was the big hit in this game so far? I've got one in mind right now.
The big hit. And over to first, and out at first is Frankie Ortega.
That's a nice play over there by the third baseman, Felix Llamas.
So that now brings up Colin Farley. And the pitch to Farley is low for ball 1.
But within range, To me, it's the guy on deck. And Charlie made it 3-0. I think it was a little bit more comfortable for Fort Morgan.
And the pitch, and that is going to be chopped to the third baseman. And over to first for the out. But the Mustangs plate 2 here in the bottom of the fifth inning, to lead the Northridge Grizzlies now 6-0 as we go to the top of 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.
Frank Ortega has a one-hitter through 5 innings as we head to the 6th inning. It'll be the 1, 2, and 3 hitters, Jace Reed, Justice Alcala, and Gannon McGee, with the Mustangs leading Northridge 6-0. And a very impressive offensive display. 12 hits and a 6-4 loss last week against Severance on Saturday. 11 hits and a 6-0 lead right now. Jace Reed has struck out and hit into a fielder's choice. And maybe I'm wrong, Brian. That's just my clutch hit because obviously the first run scored on a wild pitch.
Yep.
But I'm thinking back to the first game. It was stuck at 2-0 for so long. 3 felt like that would have been a monumental lead. And that's what I got here with a 3-0 lead, which is now doubled since then. And Ortega comes home. And the fastball is a strike just below letter level on pitch number 80. It's 0-1.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel comfortable with a 2-run lead.
Yeah, exactly. And the offering. Swung on and chopped right back to Frankie. Nice stab out of the air. Underhands to first for the out. And that's the way to field your position. And there's one down. How about that, Brian?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Wasn't it?
That was nice, yeah.
I thought he made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, he just stuck his glove up there. He put it up as high as he could go. If he had been 3 inches shorter, it probably would have went over his head. But,
right.
But that nice play.
Yeah, he's not that tall to begin with,
No.
but you know what? But he's agile.
Yep.
Very agile.
Yeah, he went up, stretched up, and got that ball and got it over to first for the out.
Justice Alcala's 0 for 2. And the offering. Fastball is upstairs. He popped up and grounded into a fielder's choice. One down in the 6th inning. Hitting with an open stance from the right side. And the pitch. That is low. 2 balls and no strikes. Slipping a sponsor here. They're very important to our broadcast. Bank of Colorado is the only bank dedicated to help you make the most of living here, not just a bank in Colorado. They're Bank of Colorado. Proud supporter of local sports and academics, and that's up and away. 3 balls and no strikes. Frank Ortega, to this point, has walked 2 hitters. Here's the wind and the 3-0 pitch. That's right there for a strike on the outer half. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 here to Justice Alcala. Apparently there's a fly somewhere in the stands. The pitch swung on, line down the left field line. That's trouble. Headed for the corner. McCoy with a chase. Around first into second is Alcala. As the throw comes in, it's a 1-out double for Justice Alcala in the top of the 6th inning. And that's why those runs that the Mustangs scored in the 4th and 5th are looming even larger now. You've got some breathing room as Gannon McGee will now hit.
Yep, that's what you need is that offense to come through today, or at least this afternoon in this contest, and it has.
Well, keep in mind, let's see, that's the first hit since the 3rd inning. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike. Gannon McGee has popped to center and grounded to the second baseman, Charlie Langford. Laying down the sign is Jackson. Runner takes his lead, and the pitch swung on and tapped foul up the first base side. And it's 0-2 here to Gannon McGee with Kobe Bevins on deck. Well, I think most of the fans are in the shade. And in fact, you've got the shadows creeping out here over the entire bleachers behind the plate. No balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch swung on and grounded left side to his left as Kempa looks over at second, throws to first. In time, runner goes to third. There's the throw, the slide, and out of third base. It's a double play with Beltran covering. The double play goes 5-3-6. And Northridge is retired here in the top of the 6th. Let's head to the bottom of the 6th with the score. Northridge trailing Fort Morgan as the Mustangs lead 6-0 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Mustangs lead Northridge 6-0. Charlie Langford will lead off. This will be 9-1-2. And the pitch swung on and fouled against Colin Gilly. No balls and 1 strike. I mean, you got to give Charlie Langford an A is too low of a grade, Brian. It's an A+.
Oh, yeah.
A walk, a single, and the plays he's made over at second base.
Yeah, he's had a great day here for the Mustangs.
And that bunt is out in front of the plate. That's going to be a tough one. Barehanded by the pitcher. Throw to first low and in time. Yep, got him there by half a step. Nice bunt, but there's one down as Langford is retired for the first time. And here is Kale Langford, who has had a big game. The Mustangs have 11 hits. Kale's got 3 of them. Kale is 4 out of 6 on the day.
Here we go, Carl.
He's good in doubleheaders. He had that big 5-for-6 doubleheader, I think, earlier this year against Roosevelt. And Bevins, check that. Gilly looks in, the pitch. And the breaking ball's a strike on the inside corner at the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Kale has swung the bat very well for the last few games. And the offering. Swung on and lifted towards center field. Got some tail to it, but that's going to be an easy play as the catch is made by Justice Alcala. 2 outs. Here is Jackson Langford, who has singled, grounded out, and flied to right. He is 1 for 3. Up there with 2 down and the bases empty. And the right-hander comes home. And did he wave at it? He did on the breaking ball in the dirt. I'm not sure he went through, but it was called at the plate. I thought it was a check swing. I didn't think he went through, but they're going to call a strike.
Yeah.
And Josh Langford not happy with that. I don't blame him. It's very difficult to see that through the mask, and that's why normally in the major leagues you get help from the field umpire. I didn't think he swung at that, but it's 0-1. Let's see if Jackson comes back. The pitch. That is a fastball for a strike at the knees. And the knees just lowered on him. I thought it was a little bit low.
Yeah.
0-2. And the pitch to Jackson. And the breaking ball skips to the backstop. A ball and 2 strikes. With a Mustang victory, they would go to 9-5. And again, the regular season, postseason, as I call it, would continue on Tuesday at Meade. And then Thursday they host Erie. They've got to win those games. We'll see where they are tomorrow morning in the RPI. The pitch. Fastball is high. Ball 2, strike 2 to the senior catcher, although he graduated 3 weeks ago. But playing under the senior designation. Here is the kick in the pitch by Gilly. Swing and a miss on the ball in the dirt. They'll have to throw him out. And Hubbard tosses to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Colin Gilly. Let's head to the 7th. Frank Ortega takes a 2-hitter into the 7th with Fort Morgan leading Northridge 6-0 on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. John Beltran and Brian Nickel back from Legion Field. Well, Brian, 3 outs away. The Mustang pitchers have allowed a total of 6 hits today. Jesse Campa with 4 hits allowed and Frank Ortega with 2. But again, the score to us is 6-0 Fort Morgan. The score to them should be 0-0.
Yep.
You know, that way you stay focused as we head to the 7th. And for Northridge, they go with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Kobe Bevins, Mark Felix Llamas, and Bubba Hernandez. Bevins popped the second, hit that grounder to short that Beltran made the play on. A bang-bang play at first. The pitch swung on and lined on 1 hop to Camp at third. Sets, throws, 1 out. And boy, since Jesse struggled at Severance last Saturday, he has played a tremendous third in this game. He's made perfect. I'm not talking about knee high, waist high, face high. It is letter high across the diamond. And there's 1 down for Felix Llamas, who grounded a second and walked.
It's like he's slowing things down a little bit. He gets that ball. He waits for Malachi to get to first. Takes his time and gets it over there.
That's a good point, Brian. He's pacing himself. Nice, easy pace. 1 in the pitch. The breaking ball's down and away. You're the only one in the Nickel family here today, huh? Normally we have some. Okay.
I've got 2 little ones that will be at home when I get there.
Oh my gosh, you're having a day.
Yeah.
You're going to have a better day. The pitch. And that's in the dirt, 2-0.
Yep.
You heard of the question, what's better than that? And not much.
Not too much.
No.
A couple of grandkids going to sleep over tonight.
Oh, my gosh. That is living the dream. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out and the base is empty. The pitch. That's low. 3-0. 6-0 Fort Morgan. Frank Ortega has issued 3 walks in the game and has been ahead of most hitters. The pitch. And that's low. Now it's 3 walks in the game with that one. A 1-out walk to Felix Llamas for Bubba Hernandez, who has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. I'm going to say it right now, Brian. This would be very appropriate for Fort Morgan to end this game on a double play. They've had one. It was an unconventional double play. The 5-3-6 to end the previous inning. But a 6-4-3 would be nice. Ortega looks back. The pitch. Fastball is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, you don't want to mess around with base runners here. Don't keep this team alive. And the offering, not even close. They better pay a visit here. He's losing his zone there. That was pitch number 96. Unofficially, it's 2-0.
6 straight out of the zone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think he's getting a little bit fatigued in this 90-degree heat. 2 balls, no strikes. And the offering, that is a strike on the outside corner. And I mean on the outside corner. Any more outside, it would have been ball 3. 2-1 to Bubba Hernandez. Just go fastball again. Fouled off the catcher to the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Brendan Peterson. With 1 out, we're in the 7th. Fort Morgan looking for the sweep today. Throw back to first, back in diving is Felix Llamas. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. Hernandez settles back in for the right side. Frankie settles on the rubber. He might just try to blow it by him. And the pitch, way outside with a breaking ball. I'm not sure. Again, that was a non-competitive pitch. It started out in the ball zone, ended up in the ball zone.
Yeah, you got to make him want to swing at it, but not.
Yeah, that was not even close.
Zone.
You got to go down the middle here, somewhere in the strike zone. 3-2. Here it is. And that's the ball. He walked him down and away. Oh, here's Brendan Peterson, who's 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out. And let's see if Coach Langford is going to just talk to him or make a change. He's 100 pitches in and obviously tiring. He has lost the strike zone. He's had 2 walks going into the inning. He's just doubled that total. And all you need are 2 more outs to secure the victory. And this is a decision Coach has got to make here. I'm sure he wants to leave him in.
It's like Beltran's going to get the ball.
And these runners are going to be the responsibility of Frank Ortega. Now, Nick goes actually into the game with the lowest ERA on the team because he's given up quite a few hits and runs, but a lot unearned. So let's check the book here on Nick Beltran. And again, he gives up quite a few hits, but the ERA at 2.33. Jesse's down to 2.28 after the shutout. This will be Beltran's 7th appearance to lead the team. Frank Ortega will go to short. So that's the change being made here in the top of the 7th inning, with the Mustangs up 6-0 over Northridge. And if Beltran can allow nobody to score here, Frank's ERA might go into the 2s.
Yep.
3.44 coming into today's game. Again, those 2 runners are his responsibility. It's going to go down either way. If he gives up 2 runs and 6 in a third, it's going to go down either way, but it goes down even further if Beltran, who's got to remove some jewelry or something on his right wrist, can shut down these hitters. And let's see who he's going to be facing here. This will be, again, Peterson struck out and grounded out. Peterson hit that shot to third that Jesse Campa fielded on one hop and through to first. So here we go. Back-to-back walks have Northridge with a minor threat here in the seventh, with a 6-0 Fort Morgan lead.
Here we go, Beltran.
So Peterson at 0 for 2. The stretch and the offering. And that's a fastball inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Now, I don't care what the score is, Brian, until that third out is recorded. Yeah. The score means nothing. It only means something when you're in the win column at the end. 1-0. That's a strike right there on the inner half. Throw him a changeup there. The count is level at 1-1. Felix Llamas at second. Hernandez at first. The stretch by Beltran. Looking back. And the pitch. Swung on line and caught by the third baseman, Campa. Throw to second, double play. Holy mahungus, what a play. Jesse Campa with a gorgeous play on the line drive, and the Mustangs win the game 6-0. Wow, 2 unconventional double plays to end the 6th and 7th innings, and Fort Morgan will wrap it up after this. The final score, Fort Morgan 6, Northridge 0. As the Mustangs sweep a doubleheader today, the Mustangs sweep that doubleheader as we lost you there for just a second against 2 separate teams, beating Greeley West and Northridge. Once again, Fort Morgan 6, Northridge 0. Mustang Baseball is brought to you in part by High Plains Bank on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. John Beltran with Brian Nickel. The Mustangs defeat Northridge by a score of 6-0. The Mustang post-game show is brought to you by Morgan Community College, and they are here to make your dreams become a reality for both traditional and non-traditional students. Morgan Community College. Brian, I'm going to fix things up right here. We'll get to the recap momentarily, but 6-0. I mean, Fort Morgan clearly played even better in the second game, especially in the offensive end, than they did in the first game.
Yeah, they came through here in that second game. They Josh Langford flip-flopped the lineup here a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see if he leaves it this way once Fajardo gets back or if he goes back to the way it was. But this was a very effective batting lineup in the second game, getting 6 runs on, 11 hits, I believe.
They got 6 runs and 11. See, that's the whole thing is that, I mean, this team is even more dangerous if they begin to hit the baseball, and that was the case today as they jumped out with 2 runs in the second inning for the Mustangs. 6 runs and 11 hits, no errors, 5 left on base, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 4 left on base. The winning pitcher going 6 1/3 innings was Frank Ortega. The loss went to Nick Garland. Time of the game, 1 hour and 43 minutes. Nick Beltran had a base hit. It would score a wild pitch in the second inning, and then that double by Kale Langford scored another to make it 2-0. And then we moved on into the 4th inning when the Mustangs extended their lead. Charlie Langford with a 2-out RBI single. He made it 3-0. And then they scored another run in that frame on Kale Langford's single as Colin Farley crossed home plate. Mustangs would tack on 2 more. Nick Beltran with an RBI fielder's choice. Malachi Bills with a run-scoring single. Fort Morgan moves to 9-5. Northridge drops to 8-6. And the Mustangs back in action coming up on Tuesday. Their regular season finale on the road when they take on the Meade Mavericks. Will have first pitch at 4 o'clock right here on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Well, Brian, we'll see what happens on Tuesday, but
yep. They've got to have them.
You're going to win when you don't allow runs. You don't need much offense, and today they didn't have much offense in Game 1, but they had enough offense in Game 2. Fort Morgan defeats Greeley West in the opening game today by a score of 2-0, and then completes the sweep with a 6-0 victory over the Northridge Grizzlies.
And also no errors in this game.
No errors, and only 1 in the first game by Nick Beltran that did not cost Fort Morgan because they were able to retire the next hitter. For Brian Nickel, I'm John Beltran. The Mustangs get the sweep on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.